So with that being said, I wanted to mention that I will be doing a longer version of this as the year goes on. So there will be more detail with demos. So this is just the 10-minute version. So you're just getting the screenshots to get a high level view. So welcome to How to Audit Azure SQL Auditing with Ease. I am Josephine Bush. I have over 10 years of DBA experience. And you can reach me on Twitter at Hello SQL Kitty. I also blog somewhat intermittently at SQL Kitty. And first of all, what is auditing? Just in case you don't know, you're basically collecting information, right? What's going on your database server, specifically in this presentation, right? A lot of people think, oh, auditing, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. Like in America with the IRS, people cringe, you're going to get audited on your taxes, or, you know, just in work, you're going to get in trouble. So, but I think auditing is a good thing. You want to make sure people are following proper procedure. Maybe you don't have procedures in place, and the auditing can help you figure out what you don't want people or what you do want them doing. So maybe your company doesn't think it's important to audit, or maybe your company's required to audit, but you're not sure how to go about it. Even if you're not required, I think it shouldn't stop you from setting it up. I set it up at my company because I got tired of people blaming the database on why something was broken. And in the end, it was a good thing because we were bought by a more heavily regulated company, and we actually needed that auditing, and auditing reports we review on a weekly basis. So basically, without auditing, you're in the dark. So you can't change, you know, you need to see who changed things. Maybe that's what broke something. Maybe a user was set up for one purpose and then it got shared around. That actually happened where I work. And so now everybody's using it. It's just information is power, right? So here are the options you have. Well, there's more than that. There's even Google Cloud. I didn't add that because I never even used it. So I don't want to talk about that yet. So anyway, the closest you get in the cloud is SQL Server VM, right? So you're in Azure, the VM, you can SQL Server audit, you can do extended events, it uses the disk storage just like on-prem. If you're not familiar with SQL Server audit extended events, I have other presentations. There's other information on the web about that stuff too. And then you have managed instance and RDS, and those, they do have SQL Server audit and extended events available. But you do have to use the cloud storage, so like Blob in Azure or S3 in AWS, right? The most different is Azure SQL, and you cannot use SQL Server Audit. You can use extended events, but they do have something in the portal for you, in the Azure portal, that's like SQL Server Audit. So what I'm going to do is go through that because it's the most different. And I know a lot of people tend to look at that as a managed database. So basically, like I said, it's built into the portal. You can enable it for free at a cost. It just depends on your storage location. And the storage, it's really only 500 megs a day, last I checked, up to 7 days free. So it's really to test. I mean, I can't use it on our prod server because it's just auditing everything. So you turn it on at a server level or database level, right? And it gets everything because there's no filtering. If you're familiar with SQL Server Audit, you can filter. You can say, I only want to see this user, or I don't want to see this. You can't do that here. And so basically you get everything. And then it's available all pricing tiers. I haven't tested it in basic. I was surprised it works there even. So here's a screenshot of turning it on at the server level, right? So there's still the concept of the server level in there, that it holds the databases, right? So you can turn it on there. It's just a little radio button. And then you have the option of also adding the auditing of Microsoft support, which is nice. You can see what they're doing. You can put it in the same or a different location. And then I just want to mention, if you turn it on to server level, don't turn it on at the database level, because then you're just getting a bunch of duplicate stuff. If, for instance, you only want to audit one database, then you don't want to turn it on at the server level. You just want to go to that database. I tend to want to just do all the databases the same way, just because I want to get everything all across them, but you may have different use cases. So let's walk through. I list these here for you. These are the different options for storage. Storage meaning the first one is blob storage. Log analytics it has this custom language that you can go and query all the information you put. You can put other stuff besides SQL audit stuff. And then there's Event Hub. So let's just go through these quickly in turn. So storage, you have to set up a blob storage, right? It's going to hold XEL files there. Those are technically extended event files, but it's like auditing stuff. So then you can change advanced properties. I just leave this up alone. I wanted you to see that it's there. 0 means forever, by the way. I personally would recommend 0, but you know, I will keep a smaller amount than that, but depends on your needs. And so then this is what it looks like when it actually writes it. It's going to put in all these little subfolders. You'll notice location, and it puts it there by the database, by the date. I personally think, I don't know, you could shoot through with PowerShell probably and centralize it, but I personally like doing log analytics. So again, you have to set up a log analytics workspace. This is the one where I mentioned you could get up to 500 megs a day, up to 7 days history to test it out, right? They don't recommend you doing that in prod because actually you're gonna, excuse me, you're gonna run out of space anyway. And this is what it looks like when you want to go query it. So you can get to it from each database, even if you, my gosh, excuse me, it's so early. I just got up like half an hour ago. Sorry. So you go to each database to see it, to view the logs, even if you turn on the server. That's one way. Another way you can get at this is to just go to your log analytics workspace. Either way works. And so you click view audit logs from the database, you click log analytics, and you get this custo query here. It's pretty straightforward to learn. It's, you know, it's sort of SQL-like-ish, you know. Anyway, so I did a couple things so you can see down in the results that change, you know, but it's getting other stuff, like it's gonna get, you know, server property, all kinds of stuff there. But again, remember, if you turn this on at server level and database level, you're gonna get 2 of everything in here. So you definitely don't wanna do that. But I like this log analytics way too, especially because we have multiple Azure SQL databases. I just put them all in the same workspace. So I can just go query this and get all the changes across the same region, at least in this one log space. Well, that just shortens it. Log analytics workspace. So then finally you have the event hub. I only use this just to show you that it's possible to set it up. This requires that your event hub is in the same region as your database and server, right? The others, I recommend putting them in the same region just for ease of use, but this requires it absolutely. And then this is what it looks like when you set it up. Apparently to consume the audits, like I said, I didn't even use this. I just love log analytics, so I just use that. But you need to set up a stream to consume the events and write them to a target, and they're in JSON formatting stuff. So if that's exciting to you and you have other stuff in Event Hub, then yeah, that might work for you. So here's enabling at the database level. So you note here in the screenshot that you see server level auditing is enabled. That's your warning to not enable it at the database level. But here, it might say disabled. Then in that case, you could enable it at the database level. It looks very similar, right, to server level. I just wanted you to show you that. Thing is, like I said, don't enable at database level if you have it at server level. So something else you can do in Azure SQL is you can actually use extended events. So if you're familiar with those on SQL Server, it's really your VMs, SQL Server VMs, then it's gonna feel very similar here. The only thing is, the file name has to be a blob. So it's pretty powerful. I actually really like this option. I'm actually thinking of changing from log analytics to this, but that's a future story. So managed instance auditing, I mentioned that on that table slide there. It is basically, it has SQL Server Audit. It has extended events. It's got the same look and feel in SQL Server Management, so you can go right click it, set it up. But again, it needs that blob storage. So here's a resources slide. I'm going to put this slide deck up in my GitHub, which is, I'm a GitHub, it's SQL Kitty. And so you have some more links so you can go through and get a little more information than my really fast overview. So thank you for attending. Thank you to William Data Minutes guys for putting this together and having me here. Thank you for rearranging when my computer didn't work. So I appreciate it. So contact me at Hello SQL Kitty, or you can visit my blog. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, so that's probably the best way to get me.